Heart and Soul. It is so good to be back and be on mic in this way. Of course, I was here last week and in the role of host and support for my dear sister, Reverend Dr. Sunny Cantrell Smith. And I was so grateful for her being with us both on Sunday and on Wednesday. So I'm back, and it feels good. It feels good to be here today. My intention, thank you, Ron. My intention is to guide us in claiming this opportunity to see through new eyes. So, let me first of all give you, there's some things that are happening in the life of Heart and Soul that really invite us to see through new eyes and step forward in new ways and all of that. So an opportunity that is coming up for us, and this is all a part of our adventure in faith as well, is that this is our 16th year. Yes, I heard somebody say, wow, you are speaking from my heart, because part of that is like, when did that happen? How did that happen? But November 4th, it will literally be 16 years since we first gathered and began declaring ourselves a spiritual community and frankly doing the work. We started doing the work from Jump Street. Y'all understand Jump Street, yes? We hopped right in to do it. And so we'll be celebrating it in true Heart and Soul style. And so I'm just going to give you a little tease and invite you to save the date for Saturday, November 15th. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., we will be having our 16th anniversary concert. Yeah, it is going to be good. So remember, I'm just giving you a little tease today. We will, in subsequent notifications and announcements, be giving you additional information. It's Tammy Hall. Let me just say, period, full stop. Nicholas Beard, and there are a host of others who are a part of it. It will be absolutely amazing. It's first of all, Tammy Hall is brilliant. And so I brought to her a vision from actually something else. And we just began birthing this thing that Tammy just took. And, so now I see it happening. And you see, I stuttered as a kid, and there are those times when I will begin stuttering again, and I just have to stop because I'm so excited, is what it amounts to, that I can't quite. So just put it on your calendar. November 15th, we're going to be at Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, and just stay tuned for additional details on that. But put that on your calendar, Saturday, November 15th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we're going to need some support. So we'll need some folks who will be at the door. We're going to need some folks who will welcome and greet, etc. So I'm just grateful for that. Now, if it's our anniversary, we're going to have an anniversary choir. And so on Sunday, November 2nd is when we will have our anniversary service, our anniversary celebration on that Sunday at 10 a.m. and certainly featuring the choir, which brings me to the point that you already heard that we'll be coalescing those folks who want to sing. And, the thing about singing in choir is you can kind of hang out in the cut a little bit. So if you just like to sing, you won't necessarily be on mic. I'm just telling you the truth about how choirs really work. And so if singing is a part of your passion and what opens your heart, I'm going to say be here tomorrow night in person here in the building for that first rehearsal, so you can just be a part of the energy. That's the main thing. And the healing power of singing in spiritual community. So see if that can work for you and how you can be a part of it. The other announcement is a members only, but sometimes, not most of the members, but sometimes some of the members aren't necessarily checking the email and looking on the member portal on the website. No shame around it, but we just want to make sure that every member knows that on this Wednesday from 5 to 8 p.m. is our annual member gathering. Now, this is not our annual meeting, which will happen in January, the end of January. This gives us an opportunity to come together and check in, to see where we are this year and what we want to do differently to have a different end of the year, if anything. And then to launch the new year. And then, of course, we'll be ready for our annual meeting, which will have all of the things that an annual meeting will include. What's different for next Wednesday is that we'll gather, it's hybrid. So since COVID, we have been on Zoom. It's been a virtual. So this will be our first member gathering in this building, period. We used to have them in person. And what will happen is we'll have a bit of a reception. So we'll have beverage and some bites and, because we know you're coming from wherever you're coming from and you won't have to stop off to eat because it will be small plates but substantial. And we're gathering online for those of you who can't be here, those members who cannot be here in person. They will be gathering online for their own fellowship. And then we'll all come together in hybrid style for the actual member gathering, which will be from 6 to 8. Our prayer is from 6 to 7:30 because we know some of y'all are at a distance and just forgive us. But Pacific time, this time. We're going to work it out for everybody later. So we'll celebrate 2025 and then share our plans for 2026 as well. So all you have to do is to RSVP today if you are a member, and you know you're a member because you completed our Path to Membership experience. If you've not yet done that, I know you're a member in your heart, but you're not yet a member in the record. And in the heart is a good thing. But for the meeting, you must be a member of record. Yes? So if you go to heartsoulcenter.org, member gathering 25 is where you can RSVP, and we are asking you to RSVP, please. If you have any questions, you can either see Amelia Blake, who's sitting right here now if you're in the building, or simply email her at members@heartsoulcenter.org. Yes? I'm also going to ask you to save the date for a celebration of life service. This service is in loving memory of our beloved Reverend Francione. So it's a memorial service and celebration of life on Saturday, October 4th at 11 a.m., and it's at Oakland Center for Spiritual Living on Clairwood Drive in Oakland. So, I am dedicating in loving memory to Reverend Dr. Francione our first song. It's by Indie, and a part of the lyric is, I close my eyes and think of all the things I want to see, 'cause I know that I've opened up my heart. I know that anything I want can be, so let it be. Strength, courage, and wisdom is inside of me. Takia Franklin and Thomas Hughes.
to see in the sun. Behind my eyes there is a me that I've been hiding for much too long. Cause I've been too afraid to let it show. Cause I'm scared of the judgment that may follow. Always putting off my living for tomorrow. It's time to step out on faith. Gotta show my faith. It's been elusive for so long. But freedom is mine today. I gotta step out on faith. It's time to show my faith. Procrastination had me bound, but look what I have found. I found strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Yeah, I found strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. Behind my pride there lives a me that knows humility. Inside my voice there is a soul, and in my soul there is a voice. But I've been too afraid to make a choice, cause I'm scared of the judgment that may follow. Running too fast to stop to listen. Faith, I gotta show my faith. It's been elusive for so long, but freedom is mine today. I gotta step out on faith. It's time to show my faith. Procrastination had me bound, but look what I have found. I found strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Yeah, I found strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. I close my eyes and I think of all the things that I want to see. Now that I've opened up my heart, I know that anything I want can be achieved. So I got to let it be, yeah. So let it be. I'm gonna let it be. So let it be. Oh, no, I'm gonna let it be. So let it be. So let it be. Oh, let it be. Yeah, I found strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Yeah, now I found strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. All right, I have a chant for us. We're gonna sing together. Very simple, it goes like this. We're gonna sing, say, I found it, I found it, I found it, I found it. Yeah, sing it with me. I found it, I found it. Yes, I found it, I found it. Yeah, what did we find? Strength, strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me. Oh, yeah, I found strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. Let's hold that. Where is it? It's inside of me. You can hold yourself and know that it's where? Inside of me. Yeah, it's inside, inside of me. Oh, we found inside of me. We found strength and courage and wisdom inside of me. We've got strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. Oh, inside of me. inside of me.
Yes, 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 yes. This is where the church could really just say amen. Amen, indeed. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Where? Inside of me. I wonder if we really believe it. Sometimes. Sometimes. My prayer is that for such a time as this, you know, there's power in what we do by coming together as we have this morning. Because it's, I'm not trying to speak for anyone directly. Often I feel that if you're here, we're part of this tribe, and we have some things in common. So I acknowledge that we all have strength, courage, and wisdom. Frankly, everything required for the journey. We all have it. Do we know it? Do we honor it? I think what we heard said aloud is true for all of us sometimes. The power in being in spiritual community is that sometimes you have it, sometimes this whole section has it, and sometimes we don't have it. But if we're in the vicinity of it, some of it gets on us. We see it actualized. We see someone living from strength and courage and wisdom. Let me say that I gotta give a shout out to Reverend Jack and Reverend D. Jacqueline Edwards, who stood right here while I was away and did the work required. When I was last here, I shared with y'all about, I just gave a slice. I took a chunk, just a slice out of Ed Sullivan's life and shared it with you. Not pretending that we're going to build a statue or that I'm declaring that the whole of his life reflects everything I spoke of. But the slice I took is like the slice I'm hoping someone one day will take out of my life. You know, the entire video, don't play that. Don't play the whole video, y'all, please. Whatever you do, if somebody brings you the whole video, reject it right away and say, we are just going to take out some highlights. Emphasis on high. Because what I can tell you for sure is there's some low points. There's some points where y'all would go, what she did, what she said, what she acted, like what? And just forgive me. But know that there are those scenes in the video of my life where I know that I have strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. And the way you know it is because I live in it. I act in it. I speak from it. Now, again, the whole video ain't going to be like that. But there will be those moments. And my sense is that that's true for all or most of us. That there are those places, and it's okay if you lift them up in the context of how easy it is to see the strength, courage, and wisdom, maybe because we've contrasted it with from whence she came, from how she developed it, from how she knew to rely on that rather than what she had been doing in the previous scene. Plural. Is this making sense? When I shared with you about Ed Sullivan, what I highlighted, the glimpse that I grabbed from his life story, was examples of him as an ally, as an advocate, as a co-conspirator. I'm not pretending that the whole of his life, again, will reflect that. If you look at every scene in his life, I'm not pretending I don't know. But I do know, and I found some scenes, and I shared them with you. This is consistent with what I have seen as my responsibility and the way I am to be at Heart and Soul, especially on Sundays, and how I craft a message, is because since the election, I have known that there will be changes that will be frightening. Frightening, the idea of the change is frightening. And the reality of the changes are horrifying. So what I've been trying to do, and I'm kind of a metaphorical messenger. Someone years ago, a few decades ago, brought me to task for that. But I don't know how to do it differently because that's the way it comes to me. So today I'm going to say, let's decode my work. Because what I've been making every effort to bring you is that we have examples throughout history. So I know it's a huge question. The huge question is, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And part of what comes up for us, it's never been like this before. And I've come to you to say pretty close. You know, there's no point, welcome Reverend Eloise, there's no point in time where history repeats itself exactly. But it can come pretty close where we can identify that. Would it be okay if I made light of it a little bit to bring you an example, just the way I think of it in my life? So there's a scene in Coming to America, you know, Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall and 29,000 roles that each of them play. Well, there's the scene in the barbershop where Eddie Murphy is in the chair and he has the long ponytail, the long braid. And they're talking in the barbershop, as barbershops will do, and they're talking about what you use on your hair, how you touching, what you do. And he's talking about the berries and juices that were used to condition his hair from, I forget what country, Zamunda. Thank you. See, this is my tribe. I told y'all. Y'all at home who were talking to the screen, when I asked that, you part of the tribe because you're my lifeline. That's how I know. Y'all know what we need to know to do this thing. So he was telling them what they do in Zamunda to condition the hair and all of that. But let me tell you, there's a practitioner in the midst. Because the barber said, oh, that ain't nothing but an ultra perm. But he wouldn't know that if he didn't know what an ultra perm was. I don't know that y'all really understand what I'm trying to say. If you don't understand what the thing is, you're not going to recognize it in all of its forms. But if you understand, I'm trying to talk to y'all this morning. If y'all understand what the thing is, the thing itself, you will recognize it in all of its forms. Yes? And that would be the thing, the most powerful, the most positive, the all in all, but it's also at the lower level. You will recognize it when it ain't right, but only if you know it when it's right. Y'all don't. So our work is to understand it at its highest point. Yes? So this may require that you, come on, Mother Harriet, help me out with this. This may require that you really sit with Mother Harriet. Now, I don't mean put a chair in front of the portrait. What I mean is sit with the ideology of freedom. so you can recognize freedom in many more of its forms. And when you recognize freedom in more of its forms, you'll also recognize when it's not freedom, even if it's advertised as freedom. You say, this ain't freedom right here. Why? Because I know freedom. Okay, Ron. I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm going to need help. So look, this notion, thank you, Takia. Thank you. Because and I love being in co-ministry with you. I know, girl, isn't there something that it's a heart-to-heart thing that's happening here. So in the lyrics of the song, now Andriette wrote them, but the way they've been interpreted here, there's this idea of it's time to step out on faith. Now, I don't even recall what year, how long we've been rocking to strength, courage, and wisdom, but it's been a while. But I'm saying today, in the wisdom of Andriette, it's time to step out on faith. It's time now. Now, I hear the resonance of those who are saying, I've been done stepped out on faith. Hear me still. It's time to step out on faith right now. You know, I've been bringing you instances. We talked a while, not because I thought you didn't know. I was reminding you, and my prayer was inspiring you. As we talked about the counter sit-ins. Boy, but there's something I want before that I'm not, okay, Lifeline, y'all not. Sit-ins, thank you. That's what we're talking about, the sit-ins for that. But there's also the bus boycott. What I've been doing is I'm not pretending that you don't already know that happened. My prayer has been that somehow in my sharing it and the way that I shared it, you might see yourself in it. You might see yourself in it somehow. Now, if that's frightening and your hair is about to burst into flames, then listen to me, please. It always requires some folks behind the scenes. Transformation has never required that everybody sprint to the front lines. Most of us would be in the way. Is it okay if I just tell that truth? So do not have a moment of guilt or shame about not being on the front line because they don't want you there anyhow. You haven't been trained. You don't have the consciousness yet. Possibly not the strength, the courage, nor the wisdom to be on the front line. But look, you can bake some cookies and make some sandwiches. That much I know you can do. And let's say you know you can't bake no cookies or make no sandwiches. You could donate money for somebody else to bake the cookies and make the sandwiches. You could donate money for gas money for the people who are going. You could, if you have the strength, the courage, and the wisdom, you could drive, but not until you understand the assignment. Yes? So somehow I feel like I've been talking about this from my heart to yours, but I'm not clear that we've been decoding it. I'm not clear we've been decoding exactly why I have been speaking about those things that I've been speaking about in the way that I've been speaking about them. And my intention was to inspire, to have you look, because so often we are blending times. So we say, oh, this isn't much different than. You know, in the 60s, I was very active in the YMCA. And so in 1968, I was on the Pacific Southwest Council Board, and I was on the the National Board as a youth rep for the YMCA. And so off, and you know, the contribution I made, I was proud to make. All of those speeches I made, all of those plenaries that I participated in, I was proud to do that. I felt like I was doing the work that I was called to do. I was on purpose. And I naively thought I was done. I thought I did that. And if there was video, and there wasn't any, my sense is we'd look at it and be like, oh yeah, she did hers. You're excused. But that's not how it works. And it's not complete. I would have bet everything that would ever come to me in the 60s that we couldn't possibly be where we are right now in 25. But here's a blessing that I have, is that I understand an ultraperm. I understand how life gets to be the way it is. And what I know about us is there were a lot of Andriettes who said, okay, that's done. That part is done right there. If something else needs to be said, let them say it. Let him say it. Let her say it. Let them say it. Never believing. And because I was so clear in my vision and what I thought the past meant, I missed some of the unfoldment of the future. I misread the seeds. I misread the power. Of the disconnect of our hearts. I misread the power in connection. Because if you don't understand the power of connection, watch how disconnect looks. I don't know that you can see the power of connection in connection. I don't know that you can look at connection and discern all that's really there. Sometimes we don't get it until it's disconnect. And then we're like, oh my God, what happened to and we got a whole list of what's missing. But when it was there, we didn't have a list. We were pretty much taking it for granted, having a sense of that's just the way it's going to be. Ron, I think I'm done with that because I don't have a bandwidth to even. So look, my beloved friend and our spiritual leader, because it'll only go one way for me. That's what it is. It's there. I knew you couldn't tell by just looking at it. They're like, it looks like it's working. Okay, so look, last week, we were so blessed to have the elected spiritual leader for Centers for Spiritual Living with us here, Reverend Dr. Sunny. And she was with us on Wednesday night in IJ, and if you weren't there, you know, I wish now that we had recorded it. For so many reasons, we did not. And unfortunately, if you weren't there, you weren't there. Here's the beauty of it, though. In community, where there's a critical mass of awareness, you can end up in the benefit of the awareness. Does that make sense? Yes. See, everybody doesn't have to be everywhere all the time. It's that there is a critical mass awareness that we are always benefiting from. Now, look, it cuts both ways, though. Yes, it does. Okay, we got a testimony. It cuts both ways. Just like you get the benefit of being in the presence of the strength, the courage, the wisdom, you also get the runoff from the fear, the doubt, the ugh. Thank you. It's how life gets to be the way it is in any given moment. in any given moment, we can either point in blame for this is how it got to be, or we can understand the truth and know that our fingerprints are on it somehow. Not in a blame way, but in an opportunity way. Because in a blame way, you can't do nothing about that. If it really is whoever was elected to whatever, you can't do nothing until it's time for them to be reelected or not reelected. I mean, really, there's some stuff you can do, but in terms of the absolute change for that, so the good news is you don't have to wait for that. You begin to change you. You begin to is this making sense? You begin to change who you are, how you be, the vibration you bring to the universe. Now, I know you think you're just bringing it in your household, but that's a universe in its sense. And that ripples out to the neighborhood. And that ripples out to, and that ripples out to, and that ripples out to. And you are making an impact by being here. See, I know we want to make Yeshua the one that the world calls Jesus, the exception. And that's so we can play it safe. We make that the exception. He has impact on the entire universe, but not you. Not you, most of whom have already lived way longer than he did. Making an impact every day, but denying the power of it. The invitation is to add intentionality. Add the intentionality for healing. Add the intentionality for transformation, for divine shift everywhere, always and in all ways. Add that intentionality and see how your life begins to shift. See how you begin to show up in new ways, in different ways, and going to different places under different circumstances. See, I don't know, nor do I barely know what's for me. So I'm not standing here trying to pretend like I know what's for you, but I know there is something for you. Why? Because you're in here breathing. And when your work is done, you will cease to breathe. But until then, there is something for you to contribute to in a positive way. And for most, if not all of us, it will require our strength, our courage, our wisdom. Now, wisdom implies you have to know something. So you're not out there just being courageous and flexing. You actually are doing that in the context of the wisdom, the truth, the highest possible known truth. Now here's the thing. For each of us, we simply are where we are. Many folks give testimony that they've taken classes at Heart and Soul, and being in the mix at Heart and Soul has brought a positive shift to their life. In every one of those cases, they could speak about a timeline from a few years ago, or maybe decades ago, when they were operating from a different wisdom. Does that make sense? They knew something else. They believed something else. And then they've come through classes or been in the environment, and they began to shift. And so now you're standing in a new place, in a new awareness. You know something else about your power. You know that there's a power greater than any of us in this universe, and that each and every one of us can use it. Vintage Ernest Holmes. Vintage Ernest Holmes. Dr. Sunny spoke to us last Sunday about taking off the blinders. There's a level of wisdom in that. The first wise point is to know you have some on. That's the first point of wisdom. If you don't know you have on blinders, you just keep going with the blinders. Now, Dr. Sunny's a country girl from Appalachia in Kentucky. And so she gave us this example of that how her father would put blinders on the horse intentionally to limit the horse's vision, to control it. Now, you don't have to read all of Project 2025 to know that that's part of the intention. You can just have a sense of how blinders work. And make sure that when you notice, see, there's something about self-awareness. You're going to have to know you. That's part of the wisdom, is knowing thyself. So you can recognize when you got blinders on and when you don't. Now, a point she made that was essential, I believe, is that sometimes when the farmer puts the blinders on the horse, it's intentional. They want them plowing right there, just right there. Not over there, not back around there. They want that focus so singular. And sometimes you do in your life. Sometimes you need the blinders on. There's something now in our space because, you know, in terms of technology, we're not even ready. We're not even ready for all this stuff. But look here, there are blinders that have been created. I'm going to ask you to go to my next slide, please. Because there are the next one after that. There are blinders here on the left. These are human blinders that have been designed for folks who are in open workspaces. Because, you know, back in the day, everybody had an office or a cubicle. And then they did, like, well, no, it needs to be all open space. And they realized that a lot of folks couldn't work in that. They were not nearly as productive because they needed blinders to support them in focusing. So blinders themselves are not a bad thing. It depends on why you got them on. And the idea is that they can also prevent us from seeing clearly and thus not gaining a full sense of what's happening right here. So would it be fair to say that some of us have blinders on in our own lives, just in terms of what's happening? You know, some are not even living their life from a conscious, intentional place of dominion. Would it be okay if I just said that all right out loud, y'all? And folks at home, just come on, give it to us. That there's this invitation is one of awareness of what's going on with me. I mean, I see some stuff in the universe. I hear the news. I've read the paper. I see that there's some stuff going on, that there's a plan to. How do I respond to that? What do I believe that means for us? Now, for some of us, we give up. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not pointing out anybody in particular. I'm just saying that sometimes the human reaction is one of devastation, one of immediate overwhelm. Somebody quotes some passage to us from Project 2025, let's say, or what's going on in the legislature, what's before them or what isn't before them that we thought was going to be before them. And our response, our reaction can be total devastation. We just fall out. I can't do nothing else now because this is just. But I've come to you to say it ain't over till it's over, and you won't be the one to determine when that is. So our work must continue. This is why strength and courage and wisdom is required of us. Because we have to know, and here's the thing. I'm not asking any of us to do more than we can do. Y'all know what a relay is? In the relay, you run your part. You get what you can get, and then what do? and somebody gets it and they may outdo you, or they may just be able to do, everybody's going to do what they can do. And what they can do, we're not going to rate. So however that next one runs it, they get us closer to the goal. Because for sure, whoever you pass it to is going to be going in the proper direction. Now that's key. That's key. We're not going to act like we shouldn't just say that. We're not going to just assume. But the goal is that everybody in that relay is going in the same direction at whatever speed and whatever diligence, bringing their strength, their courage, and their wisdom to it. But the idea is, what are you doing while they're doing that? You're not judging them. That's not your job. You're not there to critique them. You're not there to score them. You're there to get ready for your next leg. I don't know if you really hear me. You are in the race for its entirety. So that gives you a break. What you do with that break is up to you, but ideally you'll be wise. You'll know maybe to have a little protein. Or maybe your trainer says that's an opportunity for a little carb. Or rest, just hydrate. You'll do whatever it is you need, or maybe you need to go study. See, I don't know what's going to be required. And you might need to study the past, as we've been doing, as we've talked about the sit-ins and the boycotts. And I've done my best to bring to you some of the descriptions and bios of the folks who did it anyway. Where when we read about them, we're like, how the heck did they even get up in the morning? How did I even find out about them? Because for some of us, we know that if we had been pressed upon like they have been, come on, Mother Harriet, help us to understand that when we know your bio, when we understand what you were working with, that we are in awe that you made it past the plantation line. And beyond that you came back. I know there's a question about how many times, and I don't care. I just want to say multiple. Because for some of us, we would have been, as free. And that would have been the end. And let me just say that that's okay. Because what I'm believing is that you then do some work where you are. Come on, Frederick Douglass. You don't have to go back and get somebody to make a difference. You can make a difference wherever you land. And there are plenty of folks and a lot of folks' names, even if you're reading these slave narratives, some of them, you're never going to know their names, but you feel their imprint. You know that somebody did something in a way that made a way for us. And so today, I'm still working with everything. I'm just working with everything. Let me just see, because I need to close this out. I'm out of time. I done took it. I took the time and I ran with it, and now it's out. Oh, look, I got to tell you this, though. Look, there's an Anita Baker song. I need y'all to get ready. There's an Anita Baker song, Fairy Tales, that I love. One, the piano playing wears me out. Can I just tell you that? Just the first couple of bars, and I just fall out because it's just everything. Just the piano playing for me, alone. So let me just, period, full stop, piano playing. But then in the lyrics, come on, Anita Baker, you better ask somebody. Yes! Reality. That's it. That part right there. That's what I'm talking about. The story ends as stories do. So we all have made up a story about how it's going to be. Frankly, how it was. We've made up a story about how it was, what that means. We make up a story about how it is right now, what that means. And we make up a story about how it's going to be and what that means. Oh, but Maestro, Anita Baker says, the story ends as stories do. And what happens? Reality, come on, steps into view. No longer living life in paradise, in this thing you made up about it. This is not, the reason I didn't put that line in there is because I didn't know that I would have the time to disabuse you of the idea that paradise does not necessarily mean a vision that ought to be fulfilled. Because for somebody, Project 2025 is paradise. You don't want me to tell you the whole truth? So you see, paradise is, in this context of this song, these lyrics, as I am interpreting them, is simply the idea you're holding. The way you thought it ought to work out for you. Not for humanity, but just for your personal need. Be with somebody who don't want to be with you. Because that's what y'all understand? Okay, let me just, all right, so look, but the cold part right here is reality steps into view. And that's where our attention must go. This is where we want to recognize what's an entrepreneur. What's the divine, universal reality? That you're loved, that you matter, that you're essential in every way, shape, and form, that who you are makes a difference, and that who you are can make an even bigger difference out of your willingness to give and share what you have to give and share. Nobody knows but you. There's going to be a point soon in this service where we're going to ask you to give. Nobody knows what you have or what you can give. But I'm going to ask you to dig deep and to see what that is for you. When we ask for folks who can volunteer and support us in sacred service, I'm going to ask you to dig deep and see what is it that you can do? What is it that you can offer? How is it that you can support? If this matters to you, then I invite you to invest in it, to support it in meaningful ways. Because look, what the world needs now is you to recognize your strength, your courage, and to live in your wisdom. What the world needs now is love, your love. Not just, what does the lyric say? Not just for some, but for what? Everyone. Takia Franklin and Thomas Hughes.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. What the world needs now is love. that there's just too little of what the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. Oh, listen, Lord, if you want to know what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Hey, everyone. Clap your hands like this one. Clap your hands like this one. Yeah, there it is. We're gonna remember what the world needs now is love, 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 love. What the world needs now is love, sweet, sweet love. What the world needs now is love, 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 love. What the world needs now is love, love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just a little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for no, not just for some. No, not just for some. No, no, yeah, yeah. What the world needs now, you need love, sweet love. Give it away. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some.